I want to start today by asking you a very interesting question. Has an animal ever pursued you before? Oh my God. Listen, I know some of you are quick to say, well, a dog pursued me. It just reminds me of a story my dad told me. Some guy jumped into the compound trying to steal some stuff in the compound, not knowing that we had a very nasty dog. I was too young and asleep, so I don't even remember the story. But what woke everybody up is someone screaming, "Wo you Allah, wo you Allah," and I'm just recounting the story. This is not to cast aspersions on a particular tribe, you know. And when members of my family looked through the window, they saw this guy trying to jump over the fence, and the dog kept dragging him down. Calmly, the dog was not barking, was just dragging him down, knowing that he had him in the paw of his hand. But lucky are you, blessed are you if it is a dog that pursued you. At least you can tell the story with prestige. A dog pursued me. Has a chicken pursued you before? These are some traumas that you cannot explain, because there is some, you see, if they're just pursuing you, that's fine. But when they begin to flap, maybe fly at you, Jesus. Listen, I've never had that experience, so, well, God bless you. I said all of that to say this. The topic we're treating today is sin is an animal. All right, we're still continuing our series on breaking habits, and I just want to zero in on this to tell you the nature of sin so that you can be conscious on how you deal it. This is day 28 of 100 days of discipleship. I'm sure you've been blessed thus far. Now, people have been asking me questions like, well, how do I join if I didn't start from the beginning? And they have found themselves in that loop of procrastination. Okay, I'll start tomorrow, because now you're thinking I have 27 days. Just start from anywhere, and I'll give you a hack. Just listen to 2 videos every day. Eventually you catch up. 2 videos every day, or you can make it 3 videos every day. Altogether, average 35 minutes max, you're done, and then eventually you're going to catch up. But don't procrastinate. Now is the time. And for those of you who have been following this series committedly and have not subscribed, I just want you to know that the Lord is watching you. Subscribe and share this link with someone. If you've been blessed, let others be blessed as well. Let me tell you something. When I was studying the Word of God, and I saw this years ago, it touched me, and I hope that it radically touches you as much as it touched me. Let me say this. When I'm sharing stuff that blessed me radically, I hope that people appreciate it as much as I appreciated it, because I'm sharing a secret with you. And just seeing in the Bible that the first teaching on overcoming temptation was done by God himself, it did something to me in helping me understand the nature of sin, the nature of temptations, and how to overcome it. This is as instructive as it gets. It's the story of Cain and Abel. Cain offers a sacrifice, the sacrifice is rejected. Abel offers a sacrifice, the sacrifice is accepted, and Cain is angry, and God comes to Cain. You see, listen, that alone is 1,000 sermons. God is kind. God is merciful. And a lot of you are in that situation right now. You are still in a stage of premeditating what you want to do. That bad thing you want to do, you are mapping it in your head. You have been enticed and drawn away by your own lust. And this is the time where God is trying to prevail on your heart. God said to Cain, Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, why are you angry? Why are you angry? Why are you angry? And he said something. He said, verse 7, if you do well, will you not be accepted? You did the wrong thing. If you do well, will you not be accepted? And he said, and if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Now, the historical picture of this is a wild animal waiting for an opportunity, locking. It's just like when you enter into a compound and the dog is on a leash. And have you seen a dog that just looks at you and hates you? There's a popular video meme. As I just see you, I just hate you. A dog that looks at you and you can tell this dog does not like me for anything, any reason. And if this chain should snap or this cage should open, I'm in trouble. And now God is using this metaphor to explain sin. Hey, it's just like you are tampering with something that can change your life forever. I mean in the negative. You are watching movies that you shouldn't watch. You say, I'll be fine. If sin should grab you, this habit that people are fasting, praying to God for help to overcome, you are dancing around it. God is letting you know sin is an animal. You don't want to play. Let me tell you something I've never said before. There was this day my wife and I had an intense worship session. And I'll tell you a little secret. Worship has different nuances in our house. We use worship as a holy terminology for that thing that husbands and wives do. And when we're done, my wife looked at me and said, man, we're so lucky we didn't try this when we were single. It would have been hard to stop. And I say, my sister, you self think about me. Let me say this. And listen, it doesn't matter the experiences you've had and if you've fallen to sin before. Someone in the studio just burst into laughter. It's like, you can relate. I'm being married woman. Don't worry. It doesn't matter the experiences you've had before. The strength of God is available to help you to do the right thing. But let me say this. By this statement God made, it just tells you some things about sin. Number one, because sin is an animal, the best way to avoid it is to keep it in the cage. Keep it in the cage. Listen, it is more complicated to know dog science, dog language. Okay, if a dog is coming at you, you do this, do that. You stand like this. And you say, no. The best thing, if it's not your dog, keep it in the cage. So God is warning Cain. Sin is lying at the door. Listen, if Cain had listened, he would not have murdered Abel. This is how timely this sermon is for some of you. He's warning him ahead of time. Just imagine you heard that Cain had killed Abel and you realized that God actually warned him prior. It's just like a video I saw on the internet. Two guys were quarreling and one of them was angry and people were trying to calm him down and he won't calm down and he was angry. People were trying to calm him down until he picked a rock in his anger and hit the head of the other guy and the guy died on the spot. Now, the moment you enter such a problem, your life has changed forever. Your life has changed forever. Now, when you kill someone, the law is not going to take kindly to that. You may be in jail all your life. One moment of anger can change your life forever. Sin lies at the door. God is warning. And he's telling you because at least now you have not done it. You have the opportunity to stop it. Sin lies at the door. It's trying to get you. It's waiting for you to open the door. Just one opportunity. Your life will never be the same again. And the second thing, apart from the fact that because sin is metaphorically an animal, it is best kept in a cage. Number two, if you don't control it, it will control you. If you don't control it, it will control you. A lot of people have a lot of complicated animal psychology, and they've come up with the concept of an alpha and the fact that if there is no strong figure in a house to whom a dog must submit, the dog assumes that figure and sees everyone, including the humans in the house that paid money for the ownership of the dog, sees all of them beneath it. And so you might have seen rogue dogs. No one can correct. No one can scold. It just does anything. That's how sin is. The goal of sin is control. And God is telling you, if you don't control it, it will control you. Very simple, plain and simple. Interestingly, Hebrew scholars will tell you that when you look at the exact 5 Hebrew words that were used here, it's familiar. I mean, if you read it in English, you're going to miss it because, of course, there are a lot of things that will be missed since the original text wasn't written in English. But if you read it in the original language, it's very clear that this language had been used before. This was not the first time in the Bible that God made that statement. And listen, this is Genesis 4 that we're reading. Yet that was not the first time. First and foremost, let me read it to you. Genesis 4:6. So the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. And its desire is for you, meaning sin is trying to control you. This is how people become addicts. Its desire is for you, but what did he say? But you should rule over it. So this is what Paul is trying to explain when he says the flesh wars against the spirit against the flesh. His desire is to control it, but you control it. Where have we seen this before? After the fall of man, God says to Adam, to Eve about her relationship with her husband. And what does he say? I want to read it to you. Genesis 3:16. It says, to the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband. Now, when you read that in the English, you are totally lost. You don't know what he's talking about. But he's saying that part of the curse of the fall would be rebellion to the concept of submission. There will just be this innate desire not to be submitted. Your desire will be to control your husband. And then he's saying, but your husband will still have, KJV says control, but leadership in the home. Meaning, even if this is the new propensity of the flesh, God's idea for leadership in the home has not changed. So now, he's saying that's the same thing when it comes to temptation. Sin is trying to rule over you, but still keep it under. Keep your head up. Keep your headship, just like a man in the home, okay? So 2 things we have talked about now. Under the metaphor, sin is an animal. Number 1, it's best kept in a cage. Number 2, if you don't control it, it will control you. Number 3, if it gets you, it will eat you up. It will eat you up. The death will come slowly until after a while, after you have felt pain, there will be numbness. When Jesus says, Simon, Simon, the devil seeks to have you that he may sift you like wheat. Have you tried to sift something before? Where you just shake it off and then you reduce or you separate grains that are smaller from grains that are bigger. Even if the Hebrew context might have been slightly different. All right. But in general, that's what it means to sift. There can be such a radical separation. You are a shadow of yourself. Shadow of yourself. This is what happens. And this is why the first time it happens, you cry to God. You can't eat. What? I did it. And as you continue, you know what the Bible says? Another metaphor is used there. Your conscience is seared like a hot iron. You know what is happening? Sin is eating you up. Until now, you don't really care. You can't even cry. You don't even feel bad. And if you are tending towards reprobacy, you begin to find biblical and societal justifications for this error. It will eat you up. Why am I telling you this? This is your strategy against the foothold of sin and habits. The first teaching on overcoming habits, I dare say the best teaching still on overcoming habits, done by, if I said by Jesus himself, that's already powerful. But this is done by God the Father himself. I hope that blessed you. Oh, this blesses me every time I share on it. If it blessed you, hit the like button so that the YouTube algorithm will show more people, and share this link with someone if you found it profound, and leave a comment, not just on the live chat, but on the actual comment, so that others can be inspired by it. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.